Hey everyone, it's Rob Foglia and Jessica Klein with Foglia Properties at Keller Williams in Nashville, and we're coming to you live today to talk a little bit about getting a cash offer on your home and explaining a little bit about what Keller Offers is, because that's a new service we can offer. Are you ready to jump in and get started, Jessica?
Yeah, I love this topic and I love this program too. It's such a convenient thing and it really is fast. You don't have to worry about showings. There's so many benefits. So yes, let's get into it.
Awesome. And I wanted to put a quick plug early in the video too, in case you're seeing this on recording, because we do send this out to our, every week to our database. If you're seeing this on recording and you want to ever join the conversation live, we go live on my personal Facebook page usually every Friday at 11 a.m. Central. So friend me, follow me on Facebook, and I'm happy to, we'd love for you to join the conversation. But as you can see here, if you're thinking about selling your property, you might have heard about, getting a cash offer. I mean, there are a lot of companies that have been pushing that for the last couple of years, really, that you can get a cash offer on your property and it can sound attractive. And in this market, there can be a lot of questions like, does it make sense to take that, especially with the safety concerns that have happened in the last year or so? There's pros and cons to it, basically. And we want to kind of walk you through what we can do to help and how we can help you evaluate your options. Right, Jessica?
Yeah, and then also just what some of the key differences are between these, and we'll talk about this one specifically, but between this cash offer program and a traditional offer that you would get if you went on the market the standard way.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the reasons why I'm grateful to be able to offer our Keller Offers program, because Keller Offers is basically the ability for us to provide you with a cash offer on your home before you hit the market, so basically if you're curious about that, just reach out to us and we can walk through the options. But basically, one of the reasons I'm grateful to be able to offer this to you is those other companies that are out there, and I'm not going to throw any names out there, but they're not giving you two sides of the coin. They're kind of giving you one side of the coin, saying, hey, here's a cash offer. It's a great offer. You should take it. And they're not saying to you, well, hey, if you hit the market, what would actually happen? And the cool thing about Keller Offers is it allows us to do both. It allows us to say, hey, this is a cash offer on your home. This is how it relates to market value. If you want to start showing the property, if you want to put it out there and see what happens, this is what we could get. This is a possibility. This is what we have. Which route do you want to go? Like a choose your own adventure type of thing, right?
Yeah, and it essentially the difference between Keller Offers and these other programs is that we put all of the cards on the table, right? So we're telling you what the market value is, we're showing you what the cash offer might be, and giving you the opportunity to buy the convenience, basically.
Mm-hmm. There's a term that gets thrown around a lot inside of Keller Williams called being a fiduciary, that we need to be not just providing a service, but we need to be basically helping somebody evaluate their options and really being an advisor for somebody, being somebody's trusted real estate advisor. I know I take that very, very seriously. I want to help be somebody's real estate advisor, not just open a door for somebody, not just put a sign in the yard. This is a way that we can do that. And that's why I'm grateful for it. Let's walk through a pure hypothetical example, Jessica, just so people can see kind of what this would look like. And basically, long story short, like we have just a blank offer comparison sheet pulled up here, because whenever we get multiple offers on a listing of ours, we use this to help a seller identify, hey, what offer makes the most sense? Offer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But we're just gonna, for today's sake, we're just gonna work off of the first two columns. Let me zoom in a little bit, make it a little easier for everybody to see. We'll work off the first two columns here and go from there. Jessica, pick a price. What's our list price?
Let's go 220.
220. That's a little below what we're seeing in our area right now. What do you want to say? What, 350? So if we're saying a $350,000 list price, and so the reason why we're starting with this number is if you call us and say, hey, I'm interested in that cash offer program, but I want to evaluate my options. The first step that we'll do is we're going to run a market analysis and say, hey, based on recent sales, we think your home is worth $350,000. So if, just say hypothetically, that's what we think it's worth, offer one or scenario one, let's just call that market. And let's just say, and now granted, in this market, it very well could sell for more than 350, and it probably would sell for more than 350. I mean, we've had some listings sell recently for 20 more. And we had one sell for actually $70,000 above asking price. But let's just say 350 for all intents and purposes here. It's a $350,000 offer, right? Yeah. Well, if it's a cash offer from one of these cash, like, and here I'll just type in Keller Offers on here.
There we go.
Typically what we're seeing Keller offers offer is somewhere in like the 90 to 92% range. It's not an exact number. So, we'd have to get an offer for your property, but somewhere in there for market value. Let's let our spreadsheet do the work for us and say 92%. So that's an offer of about 322. Right.
And I would say that's a very standard, the low to mid 90s is a very standard like iBuyer number or cash offer number.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, some iBuyers, just so y'all know too, because there are other companies that do it. Some iBuyers will throw an offer price at you of the 350, but then they're going to build in like 10%, like legitimately 10% worth of costs into the contract, like deep into the language, to where their price is like 350, but your net price is more like 315. So just something to think about with that. Some of this other stuff like funding type and all that, obviously a Keller offers, it's a cash offer. Just say this is a conventional loan percentage. Just say somebody's putting 20% down, and this obviously is zero. What we're seeing in our market right now, sometimes there's an appraisal contingency, sometimes there's not. Let's just say for all intents and purposes here, there is. With Keller offers, there's no appraisal. Who pays title? In our market, honestly, most of the time the buyer's paying title right now. It used to be seller, right now the buyer's paying it. Keller offers, it's usually that those expenses are going to be all kind of built into the price that they're offering. So we'll say that the buyer's paying it as well right now. Buyer closing costs in our market, buyers aren't asking for any because they can't get any. Keller offers isn't going to be asking you for them either. Closing date. Both are going to be flexible usually right now. A lot of buyers are going to need 30 to 45 days. Let's just say, since it's the end of April, let's just say they want to close June 15. Keller offers can be very flexible with you. They say they need usually at least 21 days, but up to 90 days. So if you need say you need a July 1st closing, we can have that. We can make that happen. It just really depends on what you need.
And probably in both cases, that's true.
True. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you said that, Jessica, because probably in both cases it's true. Home inspection. Now, I'm so glad we're talking about this and that we're walking through kind of the offer comparison sheet that we have, because Keller offers, they are going to do a home inspection. A lot of times, though, it's a little bit more cosmetic. Like they are going to make sure that there are no termites and things like that too. But they're walking through to make sure that there aren't big cracks in your kitchen cabinets, because a lot of times they're offers sight unseen. They want to see pictures ahead of time, and they're gonna tell us that, hey, we need to take pictures of things like the kitchen cabinets to make sure that they know what they're buying, and that if there are any imperfections on the floor, if you've got that huge stain in your carpet that you're covering up with a throw rug or something like that, they need to know about that ahead of time, because they are going to see it, and when they see it, they're going to then come in and probably beat us up on price a little bit at that point. But let's just say, for home inspection in our market, a lot of buyers, they may be doing it on like a pass-fail basis. Some are even waiving it, which is kind of crazy. So let's just say no. Keller offers will have it, but it's cosmetic.
Also, with the home inspection, we kind of know what we're getting into with Keller offers, right? It's a company and it's more of an analytical viewpoint. When you're working with someone who you found on the open market, it's a little more of a wild card.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Warranty and the rest of this stuff, I'd almost say that's some of the stuff we look at when we're looking at multiple consumer offers from a buyer. But let's just do one last thing here, and that's look at net sales price, because that's probably the biggest reason why some people should looking at the traditional route of selling instead of the cash offer route. Because if we look at what we've talked about so far, Jessica, we talked about Keller offers, maybe throwing like a $322,000 offer for this purely hypothetical example. And so at 322, we haven't talked about any other costs that are in here. So we're talking about a $322,000 net offer. Now, the cool thing about Keller offers too, y'all, if you do accept a Keller offers offer, you're not paying us a real estate commission. The buyer, Keller offers actually technically is. So that's a cool part about it. Now, you'd have a real estate commission obviously in here, but the good news is this price could always go up at some point too, by the way. But so, I mean, if you've got, say, a real estate commission, and I don't want to talk too much about percentages on here, but usually what we see for real estate commission plus any other closing costs that pop up for throughout the sale, especially for a price somewhere around here, And when I say closing costs, like your proration of your taxes, having a title company close the transaction for you. Those are things that are going to be your seller expenses that you're not going to really be able to get out of unless a buyer is just having to give you the moon for the home. And if that's the case, we're probably getting more than $350 for the home in this transaction. But usually that's somewhere around 6.5% to 7% of the sales price, all of that included. So we're talking here, let's just say, what do you want to say? You want to say 7%? So we're talking, so I mean, we're talking about a 1% difference right here to hit the market. Now that may not look like a huge difference, and that we were being a little generous, I must say, with the Keller offer sales price. In, you know, just to say, and we're not talking about what the market could bring in terms of multiple offers. So this was kind of more of a worst case scenario for listing, best case scenario for a cash offer is why we wanted to walk you through this. Because as you can see, these are kind of close together, but it's a few $1,000s. And y'all, I don't know about y'all, I could use an extra $3,500. I think just probably anybody watching this video could use $3,500 to do something, whether it's, you know, improve their home or to pay off debt or to do something.
Or to buy their next home.
Buy their next home. Great point, Jessica. And so, you know, and again, this is kind of a worst case scenario for a market sale, best case scenario for a private sale. If this, instead of being, just what did we say, 92%, just say it was 90%, which is well within the realm of what we see. And just say this, instead of being 350, you know, sold for, what was that?
Maybe 365.
365. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, let me change one thing here because I want to make this that off of the list price, because otherwise we're going to start throwing off our formula. But let's just say it's 365 because that's also well within the realm of what we're seeing right now. You know, we're talking.
There's a dramatic difference.
There's a huge difference then. Yeah, absolutely. So, and this needs to be, I just typed in the number. So yeah, now all of a sudden we're talking what? $25,000 in a difference right there. And again, this is a very legitimate example too, because I mean, again, we just closed on a home, what was it, Tuesday, that our asking price was what, 320. And that was the high end of what we were thinking for that neighborhood. I mean, there hadn't been another sale in that neighborhood above that price. And honestly, that price, the 320 sale in the past was a little bit nicer of a property, a little bit bigger, if I'm remembering correctly. And we closed at, what was it, 346 or 342? 346, right?
Yeah, 346.
Yeah, and so I mean that was a $26,000 above asking price sale. I mean, guys, this is happening in our market left and right. I know some people may not believe it. It's almost hard for me to believe sometimes in our industry, and yet it's happening. And so I mean, again, if we're thinking this is the listing price, this is very attainable. This is very realistic too. And so just something to think about, y'all. And so I mean, again, so this is kind of two examples. We just wanted to walk through this really quickly. We could go in the weeds on this stuff big time, but long story short, y'all, if you have a question about this stuff, like if you've heard of whether it's Keller Offers, if you've heard of any of these other companies that are out there saying, hey, we'll pay cash for your property, guaranteed cash offer, all that good stuff, guys, a lot of times the only thing they're doing is giving you column C here. They're giving you the offer and saying, hey, it's a great offer, we're going to make it easy on you, take it. And whereas in reality, I mean, there's a price to be paid for convenience. I'm not paying $25,000 for convenience. Are you?
I think it depends on the case, right? Because, you know, I mean, obviously in this case, you're getting more in your pocket in column B, and in column C, you're getting no showings. You're having a cash offer versus a loan. So there's a slightly higher chance that it'll close on time and whatnot. And now I will say there's a difference between Keller Offers and some of these other iBuyer programs. And we mentioned a couple differences earlier, that basically they're paying real estate commission, that we're showing you, that we're able to still walk you through the process, which is very helpful. So there are a lot of benefits to using Keller Offers, but like you said, column B, that absolutely puts more money in your pocket. And if you're concerned about things on the buy side, that can be a huge advantage.
Absolutely. And, you know, we had done a video, it was probably about 2 to 3 years ago now, and I won't throw the company's name out there because I don't want to be negative toward another company, but we had, back when there was another company, it was probably about 2 years ago, There's another company that was doing something, you've heard probably the term iBuyer here. They, that they were doing these cash offers. So I was actually curious about a home that we had just had an appraisal done for a client, and they say we're refinancing. And so long story short, and we knew what the value was according to an appraiser. And we said, well, what's this company going to offer? And then after their fees, what does all of this look like? And long story short, it was legitimately a 13% difference compared to appraised value. And so I mean, like we talked about typical real estate expenses, at least what we charge and what we see being somewhere around 7%. That's not total real estate commission. That's commission plus property taxes, plus having a title company close. Everything involved in selling tends to be somewhere around 7%. That's half of what this iBuyer is charging. And so,
and what's really interesting about that case, and the reason that we're always hesitant when people are interested in looking at an iBuyer offer, is that the offer they put in was market value.
mm-hmm.
And it's all the fees after the fact that brought it to that 13% difference.
Yeah, exactly. And so y'all, long story short, if y'all have a question about this stuff, call us, reach out to us. You can, if you're getting this through email, you can respond to the email. If you're seeing it on Facebook, comment. We're happy to get back with you. We want to be a resource. Again, we want to be the fiduciary. We want to be your advisor. And if option C, if you're like, hey, $25,000, that is well worth the convenience, guys, we can facilitate this for you, and you still have somebody that you trust helping you. If you're like option B, no, that's the way to go. It is not worth $25,000 to not show the property and do it this way. Guys, we can absolutely help you that as well.
Yep, absolutely. Just give us a call anytime.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time.